Let's now look at getting a C or C++ compiler. What we will be using for this particular exercise is a program called CodeBlocks. CodeBlocks is a free cross-platform open source C and C++ compiler. So we want to install that before we actually create our first Trojan or malware type program. I'm running this Windows XP machine on VirtualBox. You may be running it on a different environment, but for this particular example, I'll be running it under Windows XP on this VirtualBox. So to do that, I need to go to a website called codeblocks.org. So let's open that shortly. CodeBlocks also has a number of extremely useful plugins. So when we install the setup file, we'll also be including a number of plugins. So let's go to codeblocks.org and explain to you exactly what type of environment this works under. Again, I'll be using Windows XP. You could be using any other environment, and I'll show you all that in a second. So codeblocks.org is the website. So let me just type that in here. And once the site opens up, we will be able to see that CodeBlocks is the open source cross-platform free C and C++ compiler. It's also able to use Fortran, but for this exercise, we'll be using C and C++. So you'll see a downloads link here. We click on that, and you'll note that there are some options that are more suitable to your specific needs. When we click on the link which says download the binary release, we'll be able to see the different options available for us. So let's click on the download the binary release, and we will see that this CodeBlocks application is for Windows XP, Vista 7, 8, and 10 versions of Windows, also for Linux 32-bit and 64-bit, and also for the Mac operating system. So we have a number of options here. Let's go to the Windows section. I will be selecting the mingw-setup.exe, the fourth option here. This is the one. So I need to click on the link on the right hand side, which will allow me to install this particular release. So it will then redirect me to sourceforge.net, which will then have the application file. The download should start shortly, but for now, notice that it does say SourceForge at the top. It is looking for the file. Sometimes you may have to wait a short while before the download starts. If it doesn't, you can go back to the previous page and try downloading it again. I think I might have to do just that to make sure that this download works. It looks like it's not accepting the file. So let me go back for a second, and you'll see the file should open up here, and it will allow me, here we are, allow me to save the file. So let me save this file. Depending on the internet speed that you have, this may take a short while or a little longer. I'm going to pause the video shortly, and then we'll resume the recording once it has been downloaded. So here we are, downloaded. I can double click this file and then hit OK and hit run. You will see this opens up, and I click next. I agree. You want to make sure that all these options are ticked. As you can see, they're all ticked, so I just simply click next. If they're not ticked, make sure you tick each one. Just select the folder, hit install, and that should start installing the CodeBlocks application. Again, it might take a short while. I'll just let it run until it has been installed, and then we'll look at the environment shortly and then go on to start building our first application. Once that has been complete, I simply hit yes to run this. Let's click on complete the installation. So let's wait for CodeBlocks to open. You'll see here it says the GNU GCC compiler has been detected. I want to set that as default, so I click on the link here and then hit OK. It will give me one other option which allows me file associations. As you can see, the third option says C and C++ file types. And the fourth option says associate with other file types as well. So I will select the last option and hit OK. And here we have the dashboard of the Code Blocks application. Before starting to create our application, let's minimize this window and close some of the background windows. So close this, the downloads window, and let's close the browser.